Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the retreat again. As you may know by now, I'm your host, Danielle Amaris Owens. Yes, it is pronounced Amaris. Don't ask my parents, though. They kind of still argue about how to pronounce my middle name. Anywho, listen, you all, I am so excited about today's topic. We are going to talk about the 3 levels of pain. Yes, I know there's dozens of measurements of pain, but specifically, I want to discuss some of those mental and emotional pains, and I want to divide them up into 3 different levels. And for the sake of this conversation and this teaching and this grand revelation that I have received about this, we're going to call today's episode Paper Cut, Gut Punch, and Heartbreak. Yes, you heard that right. Paper cut, gut punch, and heartbreak. And we're just gonna dive right into it. So, yes, I received this grand revelation about pain. Again, strictly talking about emotional and mental, and how it relates in these 3 categories. I spent a lot of time kind of writing it down, and as the Lord was dealing with me about it, it really opened my eyes to a lot. And not just the pain itself, but also the recovery and the outcome of these certain instances. So let's just dive right in. Let's just talk about, let's use the physical pain of each of these dimensions, and we'll just walk it through. Y'all know a lot. I'm always 100% unscripted. So this will be interesting. All right, so paper cut. We all know paper cuts are probably the most annoying injuries you can get. That it's sore, it's irritating. It's just one of those things. Like when you get it, you're like, oh my gosh. If you're like me, you're a germaphobe. You want to wash your hands all the time. You get a paper cut. Every time you wash your hands, you're annoyed all over again. You're just like, that soreness, that tenderness that comes with it. And I thought that this was great because I think a lot of times we misdiagnose a paper cut against a gut punch, and especially against a heartbreak. And the reason why I say that is because paper cuts are very minor. They're very minor. However, the pain that we feel associated with it can be magnified. And when we talk about emotional and mental trauma, it's the same thing. We sometimes maximize on the minimum. And a lot of times, if we don't identify correctly what it is that we are experiencing and the level of pain and the level of injury, certain mishaps and trials and tribulations and occurrences and betrayals, if we misdiagnose it, we'll stay in a season of hurt longer than we ever have to be. Then you have gut punches. Gut punches, they knock the wind out of you. The thing about a gut punch most times is you don't see it coming. That's how you're able to even get injured in that area. Because if you knew it was coming, you would know how to hold yourself. But when you aren't paying attention and you're just going with the flow of life, and life hits you hard and knocks the wind out of you and knocks you off your feet, with that type of pain, it's a sudden pain. It's a shock almost. And again, this is a pain that sometimes can be misdiagnosed as a heartbreak. And the reason why you don't want to misdiagnose it as a heartbreak, and I know this is sounding redundant now, is because you'll stay in a moment or in a season of pain longer than you have to. And the thing about a gut punch is it'll leave a bruise, but that bruise will heal. Yeah, follow along so far? Then we have heartbreak. This is not a physical pain, but if you've ever been heartbroken, like really heartbroken, sometimes you would rather trade the emotional baggage pain of a heartbreak. Darn it, sorry. You would rather trade that emotional pain of a heartbreak for physical pain. And the thing about true heartbreak is your recovery time is always unmeasured. No one can tell you how long it's going to take for your heart to heal. No one can diagnose you with or hand you a prescription that's going to make you survive or even get over a heartbreak. But as the Lord gave it to me, the greatest thing about these different dimensions of pain is a paper cut. Though it's irritated, it's tender, it hurts for a couple days, and it's a pain that you wish would just go away. When the paper cut heals, there is no trace of it. You cannot go back on your hand and find where that paper cut was. This is the type of pain that we don't always see or we can't readily identify until we've been healed. Until that thing that we thought was a heartbreak, a year later, someone has to provoke your memory to recall what happened. Because it was a paper cut. It didn't feel as minor as a paper cut when it happened, but paper cuts normally don't. However, again, the healing process and the recovery process from that will then put you in a place where the very recollection to even figure out where that cut was, it's nearly impossible. Sometimes you only remember that type of pain when someone else helps you or provokes you into a place to recall it. Gut punches now, right? They leave bruises, but bruises heal on their own. No skin was broken. Meaning you don't have to have massive surgery. You don't have to go under the knife for that to be healed. You don't have to go through long hours of surgery and treatment and medication. Same way emotionally, a gut punch literally is like, I got bruised. And yeah, it's a little tender, but it's only tender if you touch it. It's only tender if I lean up on that side. But even the tenderness doesn't last long. Because it happened underneath the surface and because it was just a little bit of a contusion, some blood there, the body knows what it's supposed to do and it does it on its own. So the recovery process for getting a bruise or for going through the type of trauma that we deem as a gut punch, it heals on its own. And you don't have to wear the scar out loud. Again, not to be misled or to be misconstrued or confused with heartbreak. See, heartbreak is not something that anyone can see with their natural eye. However, the pain that you carry sometimes is manifested in the way you move, and the way you speak, and the things that you do, in your attitude, in your outlook. So again, there's no physical pain to heartbreak, but because of the way it changes you, especially when it happens, the recovery process is so long. And again, there is no doctor on this earth. There is no man, no woman. There is no friend, no foe that can ever tell you the amount of time necessary to heal from a heartbreak. You have men and women who are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s still suffering from heartbreak that has happened to them in their childhood. Does that mean that they just don't want it? No, this is the type of trauma. These are the type of things that happen that you just don't get over right away. You just don't get over right away. And they feel like a death. They feel like a slow death. They feel like the end of the world. And you feel like there's nowhere else for you to go. There is no comfort in heartbreak. It's just something that you have to go through. But as the Holy Spirit taught me in this revelation about the levels of pain is that though heartbreak is the most severe, it also breeds and births the greatest outcome. Think about it like this. When you get a paper cut, do you decide that you're never going to touch paper again? No. When you get a gut punch, do you decide that everywhere you go, you're going to walk around like this? No. But when you become heartbroken over something or somebody, I can almost guarantee every single one of you will say, what broke my heart will never have an opportunity to break my heart again. You become guarded. You become so aware. And again, it changes you. You know, I remember, I'm telling on myself. I remember one of my first heartbreaks. All right, it's a little funny, but it's not funny. It's really not funny. One of my first heartbreaks, it was a guy of a certain ethnicity. I'll just say this, he had some hot blood from hot land. One of these island brothers broke my heart so bad. I was like, I'll never date somebody from the islands again. Because the heartbreak, I mean, you talk about being devastated. Talk about really being messed up, jacked up on the inside. Oh, everybody that looked like him had to pay. Like, if I even hear the slightest accent, nah, bruh, going about your business. I'm good. Thank you, but no thank you. And it's funny, but it's true. And I think that sometimes, even in a joking manner, when you're just truly heartbroken, it changes you. And it can change you for the good or it could change you for the bad. Some people's heartbreak has caused them to be bitter, not better. But I am here to talk to you all who are carrying any degree or any level of pain mentioned, where you can categorize what you're going through or what you're holding on to, and let you know that out of all of these, the paper cut, like I said, when you heal from that, there is no residue, there is no mark, there's no scar. You can't even point to the place that the paper cut was. When your gut punched, yeah, it knocked the wind out of you, but you know what? You stood up again. You're not paralyzed. It didn't break your legs. It didn't confine you to that place that it happened. It didn't do that. But a heartbreak, if you do not channel it in the right way, you can become so bitter that life will no longer make sense to you. You can become so bitter and broken, and without healing and producing the best version of you, because I believe what the word says, that all things work together for our good. So all, that word is an absolute, which means that there are no exceptions to it. So yes, even the heartbreak that you go through is actually there to build you if you let it. And I'm telling you, yes, to my island fellas, I'm over it. I'm here. Whatever the Lord has for me, though. But I said all of that to say, identifying the degree of pain, understanding what pain produces is all that we really need, all the instruction, all the wisdom that we need in order to move forward and to live and the best version of ourselves. And if we're really in tune with what God is doing and God is saying, and really adhering to the scripture that says all things work together for the good, then not only will we heal and recover, but we can prosper from that place as well. I'm here to tell someone and to encourage somebody that even in your heartbreak, if you allow it to make you better, you will be the best. You'll be the best wife or husband. You'll be the best mother or father. You'll be the best friend. You'll be the best worker. You'll be the best you if you just learn how to process that pain the right way. All right, I didn't want to give too much, y'all, because I can talk about this topic forever. I think that there's such a freshness about understanding and categorizing what it is that we go through in life, because none of us are exempt from trials or tribulations. None of us are exempt from trouble. None of us are exempt from hardship. But what we do with the process and how we heal from it makes all the difference in the world. So I just wanted to leave you all with that today. And if you found this interesting, shoot me a comment. I do reply. Leave me a comment. Hit me up on IG. Hit me up on Facebook, wherever. And tell me some of your experiences. And especially things that we thought were heartbreak that we found out were gut punches or just paper cuts. You know what I mean? Like, I think even in that, there's such a newness and a freshness and a compassion, an awakening that is gripped with understanding that the things that we thought were going to break us and that really like bury us in the ground, half the time we can't recall it. What beauty. How beautiful is that? All right, y'all. Well, I've been rambling and I've been talking, so I'm going to wrap up now. But as always, it's a pleasure sharing with you all, guys, and I hope that this has blessed you. All right? So